Okay, welcome everybody to this is the executive board committee meeting of the Nesquin NCAC. And today's June 25, 2025. So executive board members that are here today, I'm Mark Everett, the chair. Maybe just go through the list here: Nancy, Susan, and Rand.
Nancy Vandell, Bylaw Subcommittee Chairperson, no conflicts.
Susan Schomburg, Outreach Task Force, no conflicts.
Rand Cook, chaired subcommittee for the community plan, no conflicts.
Thanks, and I don't have any conflicts either. So I know the next item is the looks like the meeting minutes from May, but I saw your email, Nancy, and I don't see them in the folder for today. I just saw an agenda for today. I didn't look to see if they're posted on the let me see here. Did anyone look to see if they're posted on the NCAC site?
I didn't see them.
You didn't see them? Okay.
And unfortunately, I didn't start looking until like 45 minutes ago. So I don't think they're probably not there.
Okay. Okay. So we'll have to, let's see here. Yeah, I don't, oh, video. Okay. Yeah, I don't see the minutes. So we don't have those to approve at this time. I think we're going to have to approve those at our next meeting, simply because we don't have them. We don't have them here today.
Gotcha.
Let me make a note of that.
Just
Okay.
Hey, Billy, I'm in a meeting, so I can't talk. I'll call you back in a while.
Here's Gary.
Okay.
Now we have the official host, I think.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Sorry,
Gary.
lost
Hi, Gary.
track of time.
Yeah. So we were just Gary, maybe just do a short introduction for the minutes and the conflict question real quick, if you could.
Okay, Gary Billingsley, secretary, no conflicts.
Okay, thanks, Gary.
Is somebody recording?
Yes, I have it recording. I think people
It's being recorded. I had to click OK.
I had to
good.
click OK. Yeah.
So,
Gary, you wouldn't have access to the May 28th meeting minutes, would you, that you could put on the screen?
Let me check real quick.
Okay. Okay. That's where we're at in the agenda, is just looking at those to approve them.
May 28th, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't prepared them. I'm sorry. I have a summary that I prepared that got prepared from Zoom, but I haven't worked. I'm sorry, guys. I've just
Okay.
hadn't even been thinking about NCAC stuff here in the past week or two.
Okay.
Been busy with some other things.
Okay, that's all right. We'll get them next time. Maybe I'll look at the video and we can put something together from the video. Okay. Share,
Gary,
go ahead.
sorry, Gary, I didn't start. There's something else that you start that I've never figured out when I did recording. But maybe you have it set to do that automatically. Start AI companion. That's what you like, right? I need to figure out how to do that. So I just started it. And do you want to take over as host?
Yeah, I could. Let's okay, there we go.
Oh, because when I started, I'm on as my personal, so I have to upgrade to Pro to get AI Companion. So it would be good for you to take over and then you start AI Companion
No.
because it's not letting me.
Mhm.
Okay, I think we're set then. So again, Sarah Absher is going to join us at some point. She was heading to a meeting. I think she emailed myself and Rand, you got an email as well. I think
Yeah.
your whole committee got an email at 3-ish or so.
Yeah.
She was going to be here about 3:30. So I think she'll just pop in when she's available.
Could I just, sorry,
Yeah.
break in again?
Mhm.
So when I go in and check record, it says request host to record to the cloud. So Gary, you, to be safe, if you're taking over as host, you should. So I guess it did it.
There you go.
Okay. Sorry,
Okay. Okay. We're sorted now.
Mhm.
I think so.
Okay. Okay. So let's see. Uh, so we've got bylaws, community plan steering subcommittee. And I put straw poll process and review there, but that may not be the focus today. And then we've got outreach, secretary discussion, and future meetings discussion, and then public comment and adjourn. So that's the agenda for today. If we could, Nancy, maybe you could start with the bylaws
Okay. I have a
subcommittee.
really short report. So we have the updated bylaws, thanks to Gary, put those in the reference section of the archives. And so those are there. There's a plan during our planning to have a bylaws subcommittee bullet or whatever the term is on the homepage that will contain the bylaws and the policies, procedures, and references. That's a to-do item. For now, I think the PPNR, we need to figure out a place to stick that, but appreciate Gary's plan to work on that. And then Mark, thank you for sending a packet on to Sarah, I'm sure, with
Mhm.
all of the final stuff. And but so far, everything we're hearing from Sarah is that everything's approved, but she is sending it to the lawyer. I don't think we've heard back yet on that. Our subcommittee is taking the summer off. We had our final meeting last Friday and we'll resume our meetings on September 19th. Well, our meetings will still be the first and third Fridays at 9 a.m. Same position, people are continuing in the same positions for chairperson, editor, and scribe and members. And we began a list of items to tackle for next year, but it's a fairly short list and we may not have to have 2 meetings a month for the whole year. We're looking forward to a less intense year ahead. So, and that's my report, unless Susan or Tom, if you had anything to add.
Nope.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks, Nancy. So I did have here PPNR put it onto the NCAC site, and that's what I guess maybe Gary's working on a little bit, attaching it. Is it right, Gary? Maybe.
Yeah, I put,
Okay.
so
Okay.
there was a ready spot in the archive section, but it only linked to one file, so I could only do one or the other. So Nancy gave me a combined document,
Right.
has both the
Okay.
bylaws and the PPNRs. Got that one in there for now, and then I'm working on a dedicated bylaws page so you can get through from the main navigation from the homepage of the
Oh,
website.
okay. Okay, great.
So
Thanks,
you
Gary.
were able to put
Mhm.
up the combined document, Gary?
I thought I did. I hopefully got that substituted from the old one that we had up there. Let me know if that didn't happen, and I'll go see because it's got a point to.
Yeah, it's just the bylaws.
Okay, let me go back and see what happened with that. There's since it's not a link back to the Google Drive, it's some repository that we have to actually upload documents into Squarespace from, which we don't do very often. And I thought I did that, but then I may not have pointed that link to the right document. It's kind of complicated to handle all
Yeah,
this.
sorry. We'll talk offline. I can either send it to you as a PDF or I can send you a link to it on our Google Drive because we have it on our Google Drive.
Yeah, well, I think you sent me the PDF of the
Yes.
combined things. I think I have that, and I thought I had loaded that up to Squarespace where it would substitute what's up there now for it, but apparently that didn't happen.
Okay. No problem. I doubt that we have people searching it out. So, no. Everybody wants to read the VPNR, but yeah, why don't we talk offline and you can tell me what the best way to get it to you is. So, thank you. Because we
Okay.
have it in our bylaws folder somewhere. So I can send you either a pointer or you send the PDF.
Okay. Yeah, I think I have it.
Okay. And then we could just I don't know if it's hard to retitle that on the references section to bylaws and PPNR or something like that, but that way people would know.
Yeah, I'll look into it.
Okay, thanks, Gary. And thank you and Candace for all your work. I mean, really, you
Yeah.
guys have been terrific
Yeah.
supporting our subcommittee.
Okay. So next is a community plan steering subcommittee. And I have the straw poll process and review, but Rand, maybe you can, would you like to start, Rand, and we can go from there?
Well, let's see, we're on break until October 6th, I thought, but I just got an email from Sarah saying we're starting up September 17th with some activity. I don't recall exactly what it was. And I thought that the community plan was going to be available on the website this week, but I'm on it on my phone and I don't see that it's that the latest version, I didn't see it anywhere referred to. So there's a few things that I would report that I don't know anything about except for what I'm just experiencing.
Yeah.
We had a meeting with Sarah and Mark and Guy and myself this week and reviewed some issues regarding the straw poll at the NCA meeting and some issues that people had that I don't know who they are and I don't know what the issues are. So I'm somewhat vague today because I don't really know very much besides coming back October 6th, but now September 17th.
Yeah.
On the CAC website, that August 5th is listed as the next upcoming event for the community plan steering subcommittee. I just saw that today when I was registering for this
Yeah.
call.
So what is it?
After- Yeah.
On the website for the NCAC, it lists that there is a community plan steering subcommittee meeting on August 5th from 2 to 4. I don't know if that's happening, but I just happened to notice it when I registered for this call.
Well, I guess we need to get that canceled.
Yeah. Need to remove that one. If I can fill in a little bit, Randall.
Go ahead, Mark.
Okay. I think in terms of the community plan, we did meet on Monday, Randall, Guy, and Sarah and I. And Sarah would like to review the current draft of the community plan before sending it out to the community. And so I had either Gary or I think Candace removed it from the website for now, Rand, just because she wanted to review it prior. I had thought it would be a good idea to have it on the website over the course of the summer, but Sarah was pretty adamant so people could see it, the draft.
Mhm.
But Sarah was pretty adamant that she needed to run it by county council and look at it first.
Hmm.
And so it was pulled for that reason. And I think what's going to happen is over the course of the next 2 months, I think she's been working closely with Tom. I think her and Tom are going to take a look at it. She's going to run it through the county. And my hope is probably Rand's and the committee's hope as well, is that it's back on the website as soon as possible. Once she's run through it and so on. So it won't be available I think for the next couple of months. I think they're July and August, they're going to work on it. So I think the earliest that draft might be up would be in September sometime. And we talked a little bit, we talked about the straw poll and that was done at the NCA meeting. And I think that's something now that we want to talk about doing. I'm not sure the timeline for that, but certainly putting that together and having that distributed to the full membership of the NCAC electronically so that they can weigh in on that. That's what I think we are heading towards. I looked at the new PP&Rs on straw polls, and Nancy, you know this probably better than I do, but it looks like you can have one question in a straw poll. That's what I saw.
That was kind
Is
of
it
for Zoom.
okay?
So
Okay.
we need to, I
Okay.
think we need to go in and clarify that. I think that's on
Okay.
our list for
Okay.
next year is to do some editing,
Okay.
but the
Okay.
intent was,
Okay.
I think we had learned that if we have multiple questions in a Zoom poll,
Yeah.
and you need to change something, it makes it really hard. And so we just
Yeah.
said it's better to do separate questions, a separate poll for each question. But if it's some other mechanism for doing a poll, then I don't think that's necessary.
I think if I remember, I think there's been some talk about ranking where you could, I don't know if that
Mhm.
qualifies as one question, but ranking a list of
Yes.
things from 1 to 7 or whatever they have there.
Yeah,
And that
you can do
might be
that.
able, okay, so that might be
So
a
with
way to do
Zoom,
it. So,
yeah, with
yeah,
Zoom polling, you can have a ranked choice. I don't know if there's a limit on how many options you have because I haven't tried more than 3,
but
but
Mhm.
with one question, like rank your importance or how are you going to write it, and then listing the options, and and you can either set it so people pick, well, let's see, I think you can rank actually.
The way it was designed for the other meeting was uh, high priority. Yes, if we can do it, or not important. So it was pretty clearly
okay,
yes.
Mhm.
If you could pull it off, that'd be great, or it's not important.
So that would be separate questions. Yeah,
Very
you could
separate.
have it
okay,
in one poll, but separate questions within that poll. Yeah. And then people could choose 3 options for each.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, Gary, you've done the polling too, so maybe you could speak up about that. But I think you have those kinds of options if we use Zoom.
Yeah, there's a couple of different ways to do it.
Seems like I think Tom had mentioned that doing it as an email and getting the
right,
information back. That seems to be, it would reach those all 740 emails and they could
mhm,
respond back if they wanted to. That seems like a more effective way to get a bigger participation, and they can start it and not have,
yeah,
well, they'd probably do it in one session. It's not that complex. We and we may do that in the fall. That'd drive probably the administrator crazy if we did it on 4 or 5 specific parts of the community plan. The thing that was done at the community meeting of the NCA was the community directions part of the community plan, which is now and looking forward, it wasn't really ordinances, it wasn't vision and values. It was the piece that is looking out in the next 20 years. These are some things that the community should consider. And they're present, like the watershed. We should purchase the watershed and secure our good water. That was the first one on it. And everybody said, duh, yes, let's do that. So it, just so you know, the stuff wasn't about nitty gritty, tough choices on whether an ordinance should be included or this value is yes or no. It was pretty much looking forward. And we did do one at the May 26th, 2024 meeting about the vision and values. And we got 74 participants. And that was embraced by the CAC as a really helpful and valuable piece of information. So not sure why this one is different than that one, or why it wasn't okay. But I do think that for everything moving forward, we would be doing each section of we would be doing a full-on email to all the mailing list and asking about specific sections of it, which we would send out beforehand for 2 weeks. People could look at it and then come to the meeting prepared to respond and make a decision, help make the decision about it. So I think that's a pretty thorough vetting that way. They have time to read it. They have a ballot that they can indicate their, and it doesn't have to be the way we prioritize it. It could be, you can make the poll however you want. So that's something that we would look to do in the fall. And in gazing briefly at Sarah's email, she indicates that would happen in October and November.
Could I just add something, Mark?
Sure.
Mark,
Yeah.
since we have a couple of people from the community plan subcommittee, could we kind of loosen the rules a little and invite them to participate in the discussion as well, instead of waiting for public comment?
Sure.
And then I just like to say, there's a lot. We spent quite a bit of time on the survey and the straw poll sections of the PPNR. And there's a lot in there about how you do a questionnaire and how you write the questions to get meaningful results and meaningful
Right.
data, as well as the administration of it. So I wonder if you want to have like a little subcommittee to just talk about doing that so that you get effective responses.
Yeah.
Just a thought. I think
No, I think when we come back in October, that's going to be a real key part, is to understand how to do the polling and really focus on having that be legit.
And we do have some resources, the OSU, Oregon State University Survey Research Center. We'll do some public outreach. We also know some people that could help with the question stuff too, if you're interested in that.
Oh, I'm sure we would like to have the best thing we can do because it's going to be somewhat definitive.
So
Yes.
for something like this, I think the Zoom poll is probably not the way, because you have to be on Zoom. Yeah. Let's forget that.
No, we need a bigger audience.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, we talked about a little bit on Monday, and I think one of the things that's going to be important for probably any committee that's functioning is that it would be good if, I think I said to you, Rand, I looked back to see if there was any consensus on doing the survey or if there was any process where that was approved by the committee. And I couldn't see one, Rand, but if you recall on Monday, I said it might be good to put a motion forward and have it seconded and have it voted on for things like that. So it's very clear that there was a consensus for doing that. So that would be something to consider. I don't remember, Rand, last year when you did the one in May last year on the vision and values. I don't I don't know how that one was, how consensus was arrived on that one, but I'm just gonna, I mean, surveys uh, can be contentious. They have
Oh,
been
yeah.
in
No,
the
I
NCAC.
understand.
So it's really good to have a real clear, when you're going to ask people questions, you're going to put that out to folks. It's really clear to have all the ducks in a row on that. So,
Well,
um,
I worked for 2 years with Brenda and Chris. Brenda being a person who's a professor who teaches ethics on surveys and public information gathering. And that was our
yeah.
process, but that survey was never used.
Okay. So, Lori's got her hand up. Lori?
I was gonna say, as a committee member, I remember us discussing the putting together a whole something that would engage the NCA meeting, because that was such a big group of community members that gathers, just as an informational thing, not as a like this is the final decision of anyone. I remember
Yeah.
Guy saying that just getting feedback and participation from the public was always valuable, not as any kind of a decision-making thing, but just to test what ideas people had. So it was definitely discussed at the committee meeting, and when I left that meeting, I assumed that there was going to be something presented to the NCA. And the meetings are, they've all been publicized as public. The public has been always acknowledged when they were there to see if they had anything to say. So none of it was done in secret. If anybody was, the people that were trying to pay attention were trying to be as responsible as possible. So, um, and at that point, as far as I know, no one had told us that there was something in the procedures about exactly how you were supposed to do one. Uh, so it seems like a little bit of second guessing after the fact, when the process was very open if anyone was trying to, pay attention.
So thanks, Lori. If I can just respond to that, that was an NCAC poll that was given at an NCA meeting that was an in-person meeting. And I don't have any issue with the survey itself. I have an issue with the process. And to me, there should have been a plan for that so that the full NCAC would also be able to take the poll, not being present. And there wasn't.
Yeah, I guess, and I'm not a public official, and I'm not totally schooled in all of the rules of Oregon public meeting laws and everything.
Mhm.
But I don't think it was not my intention. And I don't think it was the intention of the conversation that that poll would ever say that it was the opinion of the NCAC. It was intended to be an informational thing that was, as I said, this is my interpretation. My understanding was that it was to just get the people to start thinking about issues and to get some kind of feedback from some members of the Nusquin community, acknowledging that they were not the whole community. They were not the NCAC Zoom general meeting. They were a meeting of people who were active in Nusquin and wondering what the thoughts would be. And as I said, I remember Guy saying, any feedback that we get from the public can be used as some kind of an acknowledgement of what people are thinking. And anyway, so I don't want to belabor the point, but we
Mhm.
knew that it was not an official NCAC poll, and I don't think it's been presented that way. It's been presented as information that was gathered at a community association meeting that's not a subcommittee of the NCAC. It's just a place where community members go to talk about things.
Understand, did you ever plan to ask the full NCAC membership the same questions?
If you thought they were appropriate, if the NCAC executive committee thinks they're appropriate, great. And if you provide I mean, we're all volunteers, so
Mhm.
for us to organize, reaching out to the entire NCAC membership, and also if that's your priority, which it may or may not be, those may or may
Well, I
not
think
be
being
the
fair is the
questions.
priority, Lori.
Yeah. So
I think
yes,
having
it,
everybody have a voice is important. And so everybody weighing in on the survey, I think that's important. You're right. I
okay.
do think
Well,
that's important.
then it's great. The more the merrier. I mean, we
And that
want
was the
everyone's
point.
opinions. Yeah.
That was my point. I didn't have any issue with the survey itself. I just had an issue that it wasn't asking the opinions of the NCAC membership. And I think it should.
Well, it's the deal is that in the meetings for public feedback, that's where we intended to air all of these subjects, including the community directions. So the timing wasn't coordinated because we weren't prepared to put it out to 740 people, and no one on
Right.
the executive committee was aware that we were trying to reach 740 people. So that wasn't organized that way. The time when we intend to get the feedback from people is when we're actually reviewing, as I said previously in this meeting, the focus of doing it is when we know they have read the specific sections that we want them to then prioritize or rate or however we're going to design the survey.
Yeah.
That's the time to gather the information when we actually have a finished document and such. So I think this was a bit of an anomaly, but it had been done the year before and was well received. So there was no reason for us to think this had to be something different. So it's water under the bridge. I acknowledge
Yeah,
your
I agree.
desire to
Yeah.
have that be something that would reach everyone if we're going to do anything, but sometimes that's not the way it evolves because it wasn't. So that's just what it is, and I think we learned from it,
Yeah.
and we're going
Yeah.
to do a lot of work in the fall to get the feedback from everyone about all
Yeah.
of the community plan and very organized and with a poll, or I guess it's a survey at each meeting to record what the feelings of people are about something they actually have read.
Yeah.
Because the way it was, and I've explained this before, it was somewhat to get these subjects about the future and maybe the present and the future to perk the interest of that group in the community plan, because I hadn't seen more than 10 of those people out of 73 at any of the meetings. So it was an outreach, desire to outreach to this group to get them involved more than it was really to collect that significant of data. It was more to say, look at what's going on with the community plan. These are things that are important to you that you may really want to think about and weigh in on. So why don't you get involved in this process? So that was the intent.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I get the point that it wasn't a plan to have a bigger audience, but I think that's water under the bridge at this point, and we've learned.
Yeah. Yeah.
In
I agree.
in fairness, those rules that we're citing now were not in effect when
That's correct.
so actually there
Yeah.
was technically no foul. Now there would be,
Yeah.
but not now.
Yeah. Yeah. That is correct.
Could
I
I
just,
make a
yeah,
comment
go
too?
ahead, Nancy. Yeah.
I just want to thank you for your efforts on all this, and I understand the confusion, Ran, but I think one of the things you said, Lori, was the people who are involved in Esquin were able to do the survey, and one of our big efforts in the development of the bylaws back when things were, there was a lot of anger on both sides about residents versus property owners versus, blah, blah, blah. And we really did a lot of work last year on Article 3. Tom was one of the key people on Article 3 membership on trying to tamp that down and get people to appreciate one another. And so when when there's a feeling of we want to get the input of the people who come to the NCAC meeting because they're the people involved with Nesquin, that could feel insulting to people who are not able to come to those meetings. You know, they're only in person. So people who are also very involved in Nesquin in a different way might feel like they didn't have an opportunity, right? So I think, like you say, Rand, it's water under the bridge, but this is an NCAC project. It's not an NCA project. So while it's nice to have a survey out there, and I think getting people involved. So, you know, certainly having something saying, hey, look what the NCAC is doing and get involved with the NCAC is great. It's wonderful. I think at the same time, it would be good to have multiple ways of reaching people. And it sounds like you'll be able to do that in the fall with a survey out that's not just the feedback sessions, but a survey out to the NCAC that where there's some more thought into what are you trying to achieve with it, you know, in terms of the values and that kind of thing. So I just wanted to kind of second what Mark was saying there a little bit.
Actually, you misunderstood my intention of what I said, because
Okay.
what I was trying to say is that the NCA has historically some people that are only there at that meeting thinking that is the only community organization in Nesquin and are not aware of or don't participate in the NCAC. So it was not saying that that's the only group or that is the group to decide or anything. I was saying it was like it is a different group than the NCAC. And if we're reaching out to as many people as possible, we should be going to as many community forums as we can. And that is one of them. And so I wasn't in any way saying that, yeah, I was just saying it is a way to increase the awareness of what's going on by people who really are here on a limited basis, often on holiday weekends, and that it's a different group of people than the people that are tuned into Nesquin enough on issues that NCAC talks about to go to those meetings. You'll see some overlap. You'll see a lot of different people. So anyway, my point was that it was including more people, not trying to supplant the people that the NCAC already reaches out to.
Right.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. I think I did misunderstand, Lori, and so I apologize for that. And thank you. And I agree with you. I think having as many people exposed to what the NCAC is doing is fabulous.
Susan has her hand up.
Yeah,
Susan.
it's what Lori just said about reaching out to the NCA historically, and you know, my family's been here since the 60s. The NCA was the umbrella organization, and the NCAC equivalent was under that umbrella. And I learned at the NCAC meeting or the NCA meeting over Memorial Day that the corporate bylaws for the Nesquin Community Association are actually being rewritten because the role of what it was in the 60s and 70s, the NCAC, is still in their bylaws. So there are some people at the Nesquin Community Association who are assuming that the role of the NCAC is still handled by the NCA. So I understand, you know, reaching out to for lack of a better word, you know, the people that knew it in the 60s and 70s, because there is critical mass at the Memorial Day and the Labor Day meetings. But having said that, they haven't rewritten and approved they've rewritten them. They're working with a lawyer. They haven't approved the updated bylaws for the Nesquin Community Association. But what I'm wondering as I'm sitting here listening to this, knowing both sides, is the Labor Day meeting at the end of the summer is going to have critical mass again. And I'm wondering, is this the last executive board meeting before we resume in the fall? And if so, if the community plan wanted to put out another chair survey, how would they go about that? Or could they not go about that because it wouldn't have gone through the executive board? Sorry, that
Mhm.
just my thoughts on that.
Yeah, I think so. This won't be the last executive uh, uh, board committee meeting. We'll have one we're scheduled to have one in July
Okay.
and one in August. And I hope people don't misunderstand. I don't mind having the surveys. I do like to engage people. I think it's great. Anyways, I just want to include everybody.
I agree.
The
I agree
NCAC,
100%.
the NCA, everybody. And so I want to make sure we have a plan for for surveying people who are in person and people who are not in person.
Mhm.
So that's all. That's all I'm trying to say. And so could we have a survey at Labor Day? In my opinion, we certainly could. We would probably discuss it at the executive board meeting in July and August. And we would make, we would make allowances for in-person, and it'd have to be a hybrid or some sort of, just so everybody could weigh in on it, whether you're there or not.
Mhm.
So,
I've got the owl, so we can.
yeah, just however we do it, but just so that everybody, Nancy's sitting in San Francisco and she can do it, just
I'm
wherever
on a
you are, you
layover
can.
somewhere.
Yeah, right. So just so everybody can do it, right? So that's all I'm saying. So, maybe that answers your question, Susan. I don't
Yeah,
know if
it
there's any
does.
decision yet, but
Yeah,
but
because
that's
I
what I would say.
understand, because I did go to the meeting and I
Yeah.
didn't realize that NCAC members were not, I mean, weren't given the opportunity.
Yeah.
I know I didn't
Yeah.
receive an email with a survey attached to it, like what I responded to in the fire hall meeting. But I
Yeah.
knew I'd already
Yeah.
responded, and it also begs the question then, if someone goes to the fire hall and they fill out a survey and there's overlap between NCA membership and NCAC membership,
Right.
how do
Right.
you know if someone's voted twice?
Right. Right. Yeah.
It's just a
You're,
straw poll anyway, so
yeah. Yeah. You're right. It's as long as we explain that it's a straw poll, but we would want to probably make some sort of statement that you can't take this thing twice.
Right.
You have to be honest about that,
Yeah.
and you can't take it twice. And
And we could have
yeah,
some questions in there about,
yeah,
are you an NCA member,
yeah,
NCAC member, both, check
yeah,
all that
yeah,
applies or something like that.
yeah,
Mhm.
right, right,
How are you a member, blah, blah, blah.
right,
So,
yeah. Okay, so let's see, where are we at here? Community Plan Steering Subcommittee. So I think, so Rand, I've got Sarah's email. It looks like September 7th is when the draft is going to be provided to the subcommittee, the week of September 7th. So, and then you meet on the 15th of September. So I know Nancy threw out a date when they're going to start meeting, which is September 19th. And it looks like the steering committee is going to start meeting on September 15th. So I think that's important, just so that we know that, and on the NCAC site, we can just get rid of everything from, other than maybe an executive or a general membership meeting between now and those dates. I think, does that make sense? For Nancy and Rand? I don't,
certainly bylaws. Yeah, we
okay,
don't have anything to report
okay.
in the August meeting.
don't ask me. I don't apparently have control over the schedule anymore. So
All right, okay. I think, yeah, I think that we'll plan to have our executive board meetings in July. Um, uh, and maybe I'm jumping ahead here. Maybe I need to wait until we get to future meetings discussion, but okay. I don't know, community plan steering committee. Any other comments from anybody, or, and if not, we can Rand or anybody else who's here.
I have one.
Okay, Laura.
And I'm just saying, I would like to express some frustration about the interaction between the NCAC and the subcommittee, in the sense that we've been working really hard and diligently. And we were told that at one point we were moving too slowly and changed our schedules around. And then every Monday in a row for over a month, I don't know exactly how long, but it seemed like a lot of meetings, people changed their schedules. We made a plan. We were told, but we decided that the time when people were in Neskowin was the summer. We tried to get some information available for people to talk to each other during the summer about the plan. And then we were told to just stop, and that we weren't, our schedule didn't have anything to do with anything. And I guess I would just ask that this new schedule, I think all the committee will probably agree to. It's what works for Sarah and it works for Tom. And so we will, and it works for the NCAC, and we'll work on, and we'll go by it. But it would have been respectful to ask to work with the committee about their own schedule. And also to respect the process that we were going through. And I guess I'm saying this for both our committee and for future committees. In, you know, all of our meetings, as I said before, they've been open to the public. If the particular scheduling things needed to be discussed with the executive committee, you know, somebody could have put that on our agenda, or anyway. It's just a comment. It's a comment about the process. We're volunteers and we've been working on this for over 2 years. And pretty much, I feel like we haven't had any input as a committee about what's happening this fall. We're just going to do the agenda that's been laid out for us, which is fine, and I will cooperate. But when you ask volunteers to spend so much time, you're asking a lot.
So yeah, the county is, it's not so much the NCAC, Lori, the county has stepped in to take a look at the draft, and that's what's happened here.
But, right, but I didn't understand why. She said she didn't get a draft. I don't understand that because she's got to be on the mailing list. Doesn't she get everything that's sent out? If she's not on our mailing list, she should be.
Yeah.
And I am not aware of anything that would prompt her to want to look at the community plan. She looked very anxious about it the other day, and I don't understand what it is that she's anxious about or anything that changed that would make her feel like there was something volatile or something in there. So it's a little odd to me that we're just, I'm glad Tom is there working with Sarah. That's very helpful. And I'll leave it at that. I'll leave it at that.
Okay, I would say, and I think Sarah said this on Monday, that she's responsible for this through the county.
She is, but
And
it's not
so,
been done. You know,
oh, so
she's
all I'm saying is that she just wants to take time to look at the draft.
that's
I don't
good.
know. I don't know why she hasn't yet, but she's wanting to take some time to look at the draft. And so this is really a county driven thing. It's not, I didn't say you guys don't work on this for the rest of the summer. That's not what we've have said. Right?
Right. No, it was
Okay.
Sarah saying this.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I know on the bylaws committee that she wanted to see our drafts from time to time as well.
Yeah.
And that it provided really good input for us because there were some things that we had to adjust throughout the process based on county feedback.
I get that. That's why I thought she was looking at it any chance she had because it's been posted and available to her the whole time. So it was kind
Yeah.
of like a response of, well, I haven't seen it. I don't know what's going on. And there was a straw poll and this is like really scary or something. And I'm like going, really? What could possibly be scary in our community plan? It's all recommendations and advisory. There's
Yeah.
nothing set in stone. So anyway, I was taken aback by how important and emergency feeling that it was because she could have looked, I assumed she was looking at it on a weekly or bi-weekly basis to check in how our
Yeah.
progress was going. And we've had proofs with all the edits, asked for. And anyway,
Yeah.
it seemed a little alarmist, and now we're shut down for a while, which sounds great to me. And uh,
Yeah.
so,
So Ran, I'm just going to push back a little. Where would she have found it? Because I've looked for it a number of places, and the thing that's posted was R9 until that may have been updated at this point. But you're on what, R22 or something, and
yeah,
I don't see it posted. It's not in the folders when we're in meetings. There's nothing to be able to go back and look at in the archives that I've been able to find. So that's something that it would be helpful to be able to see things, more clearly. We've talked about that before, but so I don't know if that's where she's been coming from or not, but I think, there's a process issue. And so it sounds, I don't know. I wasn't involved in
I
that
have to,
meeting that you guys have, but I don't think she's been in the loop so much. And of course, she's so busy.
yeah,
I mean, it's amazing. I think she's spending a lot of time in Nesco over the last 2 years. But you guys have also had to deal with, the FEMA thing and
Yeah.
the middle
Middle
housing
housing.
thing that
Yeah.
you've taken on a lot more than I think you had intended when you started. And I think it's a heroic effort that's been made over the last 2 years. And I hope you guys feel the appreciation that we all have for what you've been doing. Because we do. It's you've got the most
yeah, no,
critical job, I think, in the NCAC. It's a hugely important subcommittee.
yeah, I haven't had, no, nothing. Everyone's been very kind and thoughtful. That's just,
Yeah.
I had definitely assumed, and that's probably the worst thing you can ever do, that the versions that we were working on were posted and available, but I didn't go look because I was sent those things. So that's probably my bad for not.
Yeah.
I assume people could access whenever they wanted to. It sounded like it from our meetings that the update was going to be available, but
Yeah, so I do that as bylaws subcommittee chairs. I work with Gary and Candace. I put in our meeting folder and then they put it up on the main website. So if like Tom produces a document for us, like he does for you, I take that then and get it posted. So if you and I could talk offline if you want on how to go about that, or you could delegate it, to someone like Tom to do that in conjunction with Candace and Gary and whoever the secretary will hopefully be at some.
well,
I'm
when
just now looking at the Neskowin CAC.org website, and across the top there's now on the nav bar, it's like new community plan. That would be, to me, the obvious spot to put the draft. And I'm
Right.
clicking on it and I see links to, you know, the informational town halls and to the current community plan that was, you know, done
99.
20 years ago. But could they put a link, you know, to the draft? And as it had a new revision, you know, R21, R22, people I think would know to go to new community plan on the website. That would be where I would look first.
Yeah. Yeah, I just went and looked. There was nothing there, but I
So,
guess it's old.
so Susan, you're exactly right. And up until yesterday, there was a draft of the community plan there,
Oh,
or until Monday. And
Yeah.
then Sarah has requested that we remove the drafts until she
Okay.
reviews it.
gotcha.
And when she reviews it and she gives it, my understanding is she's going to review it. The committee's going to meet. They're going to talk about it. And once they're on the same page with the
Mhm.
draft, whatever it looks like,
Mhm.
it will go to the NCAC site. And there'll be a sort of a pointer there that here's the latest update, September update
Yeah.
of the community plan draft, because I do believe that you want to get it to the community, and
Yeah.
the county is just not yet ready for the community to see it. And I didn't know that. I don't, Rand probably didn't know that either until Monday when we learned that. And so I was all for getting it out there this summer. And
Yeah, it's interesting
it's a
because with
sort of a
the
timeout.
with the transparency in Oregon Public Meeting Law, with the
Yeah.
bylaws, we always had our folder where people could see the latest
Yeah.
revision. So the
Yeah.
the optics of not having
Yeah.
anything available almost makes it look like it's operating behind closed doors in a sense. You know what I mean? But
Well,
I
we don't-
Yeah,
hear what
it's
you're saying and get it.
yeah,
Well,
this one's a little bit more complicated than the
Mhm.
bylaws, just because other unincorporated areas are doing their plans as well. And in some places, they're looking at ordinances, and a community might not be on the same page as the county in terms of an ordinance.
Yeah.
And the county wants to say, just hold up and let me make sure that we're on the same page, so to speak. And so it is a little bit different. I
Mhm.
am always for full transparency, get it out there, let people see it. But at this point, the county's wanting to hold off until they've looked at it.
Yeah, and that makes, I get that. Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense, because there may be things that are like illegal and not allowable by our Tillamook County ordinances that they need,
Right.
to, you know, clip right
Yeah.
now before the community, you know, incorrectly thinks that that's what's going to be in the draft.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
again, these are advisory things. They're
Yeah.
recommendations. Nothing that we write is law. It is all advisory for the planning commission and the board of commissioners, so they have a better idea how we think about things. And in that sense, we do feel a little bit rough about this because we feel that we've made a number of decisions about ordinances that are reflective of Nescoin and how it feels about things, but we're not allowed to have those things in there because they might trigger a Measure 56 response, which the county can't afford.
Mhm.
So what's the point of having your opinions about things that you feel are important for land use when you can't include them in your plan? You might as well just post the county comprehensive plan ordinances and say, that's all you can do. You can't really have your own perspective on this if it's in conflict and causes a Measure 56 question. So there's definitely a limitation
Mhm.
on what you can do. And it seems a little illogical for me. A community is supposed to make a decision, but it can't make decisions that the comprehensive plan doesn't agree with, even if it's not enforceable and it's only advisory. So there are some weird things about it that are a little troubling, that I have to admit.
Well, I wonder if the Oceanside Measure 56 notices are in some way impacted our community plan that, now they're being more cautious. That's what I'm kind of noodling in my head. That seems like that may have happened,
That's that's probably true.
My understanding is that this is not a wholesale rejection of our work. It's a caution, just in case,
Mhm.
just to make sure that nothing has been
Mhm.
said as if it was fact and that is not fact. I will get some clarification on exactly what's gone wrong or if anything, what the rules are, and I will be happy to communicate that to the executive board.
Yeah, okay,
So once I get clarity, I don't have clarity. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for your work, though. I mean, gosh,
yeah,
it sounds like a lot of Jack in the Boxes opening all at once.
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
the history of the subcommittee, as long as I've been on it.
yeah.
Okay, that's a
Okay.
long report today.
Okay, okay. All right, let's move on. Outreach Task Force, Susan, you're here?
Yeah, mine's
Okay.
real short, my report. I've been working the last day trying to, expand our outreach task force, trying to find point people. And I reached out to one person in Beechcrest and also in Sahalee. And so far, we have signs posted in the store, and Tom Sipe designed this awesome
Hmm.
wood framed sign that's in South Beach at their mail center. And I'm using that kind of as I'm sending it along to people that I'm seeking to recruit. That's ideally what I would like to see in each of the 10 neighborhoods. I still looking for people in South Beach, Valhalla. I have no contacts in Valhalla. I don't even know anyone who lives there. So if any of you do, please let me know. And then Neskowin North, Wainema, and Michael Beachley had gone up there. So I need to check in with him. And then Slab Creek, I'm going to approach the school because I know Ran and other people suggested that that would be a kind of like a community area that people go to, or it would be a good place to post in that Slab Creek neighborhood. And that's about all I've got. Still trying to get those laminated signs up. And they have
Yeah.
weathered well. So that's a good thing so far. Oh, I hear
Okay.
that, but I don't.
Yeah.
I'm trying to say something.
Well, thank you, Susan. Yeah, Rand, you have to leave. Yeah.
Yeah, I have an appointment,
okay.
so I
Okay.
have to leave, but
Yeah.
thank you all.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Rand.
Bye-bye.
So yeah, thanks, Susan, for doing that. It's I don't know how you do it when you travel so much.
Well, there are boots on the ground here in Neskowin.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. Okay.
and Tom
Okay.
Sipe's wife, Ann, has volunteered.
Okay.
She has a laminating machine, which
Okay.
is great to know about, so
Okay.
that we can make sure the signs are weatherproof, so to speak.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
But
thank you
some
very
of the
much. Go
some of the
ahead,
signs
Nancy.
you did before you went to a commercial place, right? Do you need reimbursement, Susan?
No, I'll eat it. It was Kinko's in Salem. I just had them laminated there, so
Okay.
not bad.
Okay. Why don't you just let Gary know? I mean, not Gary, Chris know just that you are donating that amount of money
Oh, okay.
or something like that. I don't know how he wants
Okay.
to cover it, but you
Yeah.
know, that's kind of a donation on your part
Yeah,
Yeah.
with a receipt. Because that way the county knows.
I probably
Yeah.
still don't have the receipt, to be honest. It
Oh.
probably
Oh,
went in the
okay.
recycle.
All right.
I'm sure it did. I hate
Never mind
opening
then.
paper.
And I know I don't have the receipt for the wood, so
Oh.
Yeah.
just have to deal with it.
There's the wood. Yeah. Tom built this great sign or
Yeah.
post.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know if he's shown that before, but looks really nice.
I think Susan, you sent a picture to me, and it was great.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
wonderful. Thank you.
we're
So,
trying to get those in each
Mhm.
neighborhood if
Oh,
we
okay.
can. I know the
Yeah.
HOAs, so Holly's gonna have to go through certain, and same with the Hills of Nesquin, they've got their, but it's what we would like.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, secretary discussion. So here we are, no applicants to date. I put it in the agenda. I'm not sure. So Gary, you're out. When are you out, Gary? Is it the end of June? Or you have other commitments at the end of June and
Well,
moving on?
our new policies and procedures references says I'm committed till the next executive board meeting in July.
I think we should extend that executive board meeting until December 31st. I'm kidding.
Yeah,
You always
yeah,
have the opportunity to resign if that's
yeah,
necessary.
yeah,
So
yeah,
it is,
yeah, yeah,
is not a,
yeah,
we'll not put a shackle on you.
Well,
yeah,
I mean, I just want to make sure there's a smooth transition because there's a lot of stuff to do. All the online stuff, the tools that we use, Squarespace, Zoom, and Google Drive, all need what's called an owner, and I have to transfer ownership. So some individual, regardless of how it goes forward, if in the interim until a new secretary can be found, the work gets split among several different board members. So there's still one individual that needs to be responsible, have their name listed with Google, with Zoom, with Squarespace to say, yeah, if there's a password issue, I'm the person that gets the text or the email from to go fix that issue. So an owner has to be assigned on for those things one way or the other.
So are
okay.
you willing to stay on until the July board meeting, Gary?
Yeah, I mean, I can. I've got it. I think I'll have time to be able to do that. Although, like I said today, it just, I mean, it just completely lost my. I was so busy with other things today that I
Yeah,
could
yeah,
really we had a meeting. So unfortunately, I kind of see that probably being more the thing that the case going forward here with so many other things I'm kind of juggling with. So.
yeah.
Fortunately, I don't think the two subcommittees are going to be doing much work during that period, but
No,
it's something we are going to need to talk about, I guess, by the July meeting on if we don't have anybody who's going to take on that particular role, but also the other
yeah,
roles. So, and Candace had indicated she would continue in her role.
yeah,
So
Well,
I,
one thing that would have helped if the individual subcommittees chairs could learn how to do the task that the secretary was doing for them in terms of getting their documents
Mhm.
where they need to go and then have that link established in the Squarespace website somewhere.
I would love that, Gary. Anytime, just train me.
Because we can, even though there's an administrator and owner for, like, say, for Squarespace, there is any number of contributors and editors that can be added, and each editor can have enough privileges to be able to post and change
Mhm.
the website. So
Yeah. So maybe you could do a training for me, and then if somebody on the subcommittee, if Rand didn't want to do it, Tom's
Well,
raising his hand right there.
yeah, okay.
And could it be put in written form, like an operations manual, so that that we would have a paper way of someone could read it and do a step-by-step on how to train themselves?
that's my intent.
Yeah, I
Awesome.
can.
oh,
Yeah,
okay, okay.
He read Tom's mind, Susan. Yeah, and I think Tom, if Rand was interested, I mean, Rand could do it too, but it might be that someone else from the subcommittee could also do it, and I can do it for
Yeah,
bylaws. Yeah, I agree with you. Whatever we can do to offload the secretary responsibilities, that we had tried
yeah,
that with the bylaws to create the communications task force to get more people involved with that kind of thing. And so I think Candace has stepped up to do a bunch of that. But yeah, I mean, it's easy for me. It's probably about as fast for me to go ahead and upload it as to contact you guys and ask you to do it. So I just need the permissions and and the training.
So should we think about doing a training prior to the executive board meeting in July or,
Yeah, probably.
I mean, you could train me, Gary, for the sort of the NCA general membership meetings. And I guess maybe the executive board meetings.
Okay, yeah.
Would that be okay, Gary, if we had a little bit of a training?
Yeah,
We could get
that's
on a Zoom call.
Mhm.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and if you can record that, then I can transliterate that to a procedure that we can have in there
Mhm.
next year.
Oh, okay.
We could put it in our PPNR.
Yes,
Right,
absolutely.
Mhm.
It's meant to be there, actually.
right. It's a future thing,
It's in the
just
references.
without the password. But yeah.
Yeah.
Should
But
we
yeah,
look at a
do we
date?
schedule something now?
Should we
Um,
schedule something now and or try to at least? Everybody's on summer, but I think our next meeting is the 23rd of July, I think.
I think so. Okay.
Um,
Actually,
no, is it the 30th?
no, it's the 30th.
Oh, 30th. Okay. Oh, I don't have it on my calendar. Is it the 30th, Nancy?
Well, I'm just looking. Sorry, I said. Well, I don't have it on. I guess I don't have it. I guess because we had set it for, what are the policies and procedures
I
say?
think the third, I think it's the
Was it the
third
third?
Wednesday
Yeah,
of
this
the
is the third.
month.
So then, yeah, it should be the 23rd then.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I do have it on the, okay.
Okay.
Okay,
Actually, the
so
third Wednesday is
we
the
do have it.
16th of July.
Oh, is it the 15th,
16th.
16th?
I have it on as the 23rd, on the calendar, on my calendar, but let me see. Yeah, Susan's right.
If it's the third, it's the 16th.
Okay.
But I think we've been having them on the 4th, like
Yeah.
today's the 4th Wednesday, and last month was the 4th Wednesday. I think what we did was we scheduled it so that we would have enough notice to be able to put the agenda for the
Mhm.
meeting, the association, the membership meetings, after this meeting. And so it gave us the window. Well, let me go to the
I
PPNR.
can do the fourth Wednesday, July 23rd. That's not a problem.
Yeah, I think we made it the 4th. Do you have the PPNR handy, Tom?
Why would I have that?
I don't know.
You don't like Word, it's not there.
Actually, don't think I have a
Oh.
local copy.
I have it right here. Sorry, it just took me a while. Okay, executive board. Down into policies and procedures. Anyway, for now, why don't we just say that?
Mhm.
So July 23rd would be
Yeah,
okay.
because that should give us enough time before the membership meeting in August.
Now, do we want to do a separate meeting prior to that for this training with Gary?
Yeah,
I'd like to keep the July executive board meeting really brief
Uh-huh.
and just the agenda for the upcoming August meeting, and that's it.
Mhm.
Given that we don't have any bylaws or we don't have any community plan meetings, they're all kind of, so
Mhm.
I'd just like to do just the agenda and have a brief meeting on the 23rd, but
that would be nice, and hopefully elect a secretary, or at least
yeah,
appoint a secretary until we have a membership meeting.
Yeah.
So yeah, I found the procedure 13. It's the 4th Wednesday of each month at 3:30 via Zoom unless otherwise scheduled.
okay. So Gary, what's a good time frame for you, Gary? What, you're busy, so is there a,
Well, so there's some activities that I'm going to be involved with. I'm going to be at the Nesquin Farmers Market July 5th, helping to promote CERT and our STCVC volunteer corps. I'm not sure. Dendori Days is the 19th, but I'm not sure if I'll be able to make that or not. So that might be available. I mean, I don't know if it would be better if you want to do it on a weekday or a weekend, or what's best for everybody.
I'm pretty flexible. But that just
Yeah,
raises something else. Did Wyatt ever contact you, Mark, about that the 5th with the CERT training and the firehouse thing? Because I was
and then
wondering if that was something that we could agree as an executive board to send an email out about that or promote that, because that seems like something that would be really great for the community to hear about. And I suggested he reach out to you about it.
he sent me, I think I saw it in, let me see here.
It is a neat idea of, having the open house. I saw that on the email from the NCA, and, being able to give your personal info, animals in the house and things like that. I thought that was great. We've never done that here.
Yeah, and it's something that would certainly be valuable for the entire community, whether they're residents or not.
From a safety
Let's
standpoint.
come back to that. Let's try and get Gary locked in with
Sure.
a date first.
Sure.
So a weekday is good for me. I can't do Tuesdays, Gary. Wednesdays are generally okay, this time of day, but I don't know if that works for you.
Yeah, that would work for me. That'd be fine.
Like a 3:30 on a Wednesday in
Yeah.
July, maybe. Okay. Let's look at the calendar here. So could we maybe do the 16th? It's a
That would work.
Wednesday, or that would work for you, Gary? Nancy?
I can't do that
Okay.
afternoon. I could do the morning.
Okay.
I could do the 9th.
The 9th. Okay, let me see here. Okay, we could do that. I could do the 9th. I think you could do that, Gary, the 9th.
Yeah, I can do the 9th.
Okay. So why don't we do the 9th?
And then I guess
If I just go ahead and put together an email that I can send to everybody that is sort of a set of instructions about how different things are handled, as far as if you update the meeting minutes for a certain meeting, where they go, and what you need to do in Squarespace to be able to get that set up. How do you what we're doing in Google Docs as far as where different documents are going. And then I guess also, and then setting up Zoom meetings. I know that I'm sure Nancy, you already know how to do it. And I think Randall knows how, although I'm not sure if he just may be sending information to Candace. Candace is doing a lot of, so she's already doing a lot of work as it is. She's setting up most of the Zoom meetings according to schedules that people are sending her. And then she's also updating the calendar events in the Squarespace. So I don't know if that's something else people want to know, just in case she comes back and says at some point that she's no longer able to take care of.
I'm happy to do that. I was doing it for a while, and then Jeff asked me to stop. So he wanted to be able to be in control of all the the meetings being set up. So but I'm not sure why, but anyway, I'm happy to take that on for our subcommittee.
Yeah, I'm not, I
Okay.
mean, all these tools are set up to be collaborative tools anyway. So it doesn't really, like I said, it
Right.
does require an owner for someone to be able to be the
Ah.
one person who can help recover passwords and things like that. But as far as contributions, going in and changing meetings, Zoom, it doesn't care if two different people are going in and setting up meetings. I mean, I guess it'll flag if, I mean, anyone who goes in there to set up a meeting, if there's already some other meeting set up at the same time, they're going to see that. So, I mean,
Right.
that's not an issue either. So, yeah, it would be perfectly easy for any subcommittee to go in and do their own Zoom scheduling if that's what they want to do. As it stands now, it's just more convenient to be able to go tell Candace, hey, these
Yeah.
I've got go set up all the web for that. So.
And then like you set up the meeting folder documents for me and that includes the agenda and minutes and that, and I feed the folder that you put the folder up or Candace does.
Well,
So, and then
so
the invitation link and all that, I don't do that.
So I think, aren't you just sending us a link to the folder that you've already got your committee documents?
Yes,
So we're not even doing anything with that folder. All we do is take your link
correct.
and post it in there. We don't want to, I'm always worried about the way Google's Docs is set up right now, since every person who had a different task has set up their folder structure the way that makes sense for them. I'm concerned
Mhm.
about going in and moving things around because then it's going to break it for somebody else. So I've just left
Right.
it alone, even though that what that's done is it's kind of made it a little bit on the messy side. So Nancy's very familiar with her bylaws library, but if I go in there, to me it just looks like I don't know where.
Right.
Yeah.
Plus, I've been moving things around, so I actually need to go back and make sure I didn't break anything, Gary. I didn't get rid of anything, but I put folders within folders to kind of close up the 24-25 year and that kind of thing. So hopefully I should go, now that I've got a little more time, I should go in and check and make sure you can still, from the archives, that you can still get to the things that are supposed to be in there.
Yeah,
And
that's
then
what
I've got updated
it's
minutes that are now approved, like 7 or 8 that I've stuck up in our Google Drive, and I've stuck them in the folders, but I'm not sure that they look
Hmm.
that they're well, the archives have them as they're just in a folder. They don't say minutes.
Well, let's do this. Let's plan for the 9th at 3:30 with the training with Gary. And Nancy, you're fairly familiar with this. I haven't done any of this, and so I'll come with questions maybe for Gary on the 9th after you like walk us through it, Gary. And but let's plan on that. I'll let Rand know. He had to leave, so I'll let him know that we're gonna ask somebody on these meetings, the bylaw meeting, the steering committee meetings, the membership meetings, and the executive board meetings. Those are the ones that we have right now. So I'll let him know that somebody for the steering committee should attend the training, uh, whoever that is, to learn how to do that. And that'll be on the 9th at 3:30 p.m. Gary, would you mind sending just an invite to, and I would send it, Gary, to, is that okay? An invite to, um,
I'm wondering
or
if we should
post,
meet
go ahead.
wonder if we should meet a little bit earlier than 3:30, because it's getting into the dinner prep hour.
Mhm,
I don't know, maybe it'll be fast, but I can see this being a couple of
mhm.
hours.
Well, I mean, I can do 2 o'clock as well. That's
Uh, okay. All right, let's start at 2 then. And so 2 o'clock on the 9th. And Gary, are you okay sending a invite to Rand and Lynn, or Rand and Nancy and I? Then we'll
Sure.
just get on that. We'll get on that call.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Gary. So we'll work on that on the 9th. I don't have anything to add to the secretary discussion. I don't have any leads on that.
Oh, there is one other
Yeah.
thing.
Okay.
There's some actual physical paperwork that apparently when the NCAC used to meet in person was all how it was handled. That's been physically handed down from one secretary to the next as we go along, even though paperwork's not being used anymore. It's in a record that has to be kept. So Jeff handed me this binder with this paperwork in it. So I need to know also who physically gets the new binder.
Okay.
So that would be temporary until we get a secretary, basically someone to hold it, right?
Right.
Okay. All right. Why don't you give that to me? I'll take that. I don't know how I'm going to get it. Now, next time I'm in Nesquin, I guess I can physically get it from you, Gary.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
And I've kind of run out of
ahead.
ideas. I mean,
Yeah.
those of you who are local, I wonder, I've tried talking to a bunch of people. I know others have, but Gary, do you have anyone that
For
for
secretary?
secretary? Yeah. Yeah.
Not that I haven't already talked to about,
Yeah.
if they were interested in doing it or not. So
Mhm.
I've exhausted everyone I could think of.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's such it's a bigger job, I think, and I think Jeff transformed it in a really good way. It's just so if we can break these things
Yeah.
down where we're offloading some of this day-to-day work that you've been doing, Gary, and Candace has been doing, that'll help.
We may have to go a while just on our own before somebody steps up. And so I just think it's best to be prepared to do that
Mhm.
until somebody comes along. And so, and I don't know how that's going to happen, but maybe in our meetings, maybe, the word will get out that we're doing some of this work and the secretary job is maybe lighter. I don't know. And maybe somebody will step up and who has some time, you know.
Yeah.
So
And having a webmaster, you're kind of the webmaster too, right, Gary?
Well, I think one of the aspirations was to do that, but just the day-to-day work became so much that I really
Right.
didn't
yeah,
have time to just sit
yeah.
down and explore. There were a couple of people that we talked to early on. Jeff had actually been talking with them that have some web experience where there was a goal of just revamping the entire website, the look and feel of it, and just kind of maybe modernizing it. And that's a lot more work.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Really, to do it right, you'd want to do it, but kind of from the ground up. I mean, I said, what we'd really prefer is first, before coming up with our own ideas about what it should look like, ask the membership what's working with the current website for you.
Yeah,
It's not. What would you like to see changed? And
right.
then work from that. And that in itself is just kind of, I don't know, is building surveys, doing other things. I mean, it just seemed like it was such a daunting task that it's like, man, I don't know if we want to do this right now. So
Yeah,
Yeah. Not with these two other things happening this year,
yeah.
last 2 years. Yeah.
No,
right. The year was really too busy to be able to get
yeah,
into that kind of work.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're going to try and tread water here for a bit. That's what we're going to try and do, and we can move forward maybe in a few months. But for now, we just want to keep our head above water on this. So the training will help, Gary. So thank you for offering that.
Thank you.
Um, and after that, at future meetings discussion, I put it on there, but I think we've talked about some things. Well, we've got this meeting and talked about the two executive board meetings in July and August. Well, we didn't talk about the August one. I don't think that date should probably be, let me look at this. Pretty 20th, maybe?
Yeah,
go-
I've got
yeah.
it on the 27th. Let's see, 1, 2, 3,
27th?
4. Yeah, it's the 4th. I'd rather have the
4th.
20th because I'm going to be gone on the 27th, but it doesn't.
August 20th.
Well, and if there's a
Uh,
straw poll from the community plan, it
Mhm.
seems like it would be better to have it on the 20th if you need
Yeah.
discussion.
I think the 20th would be better. Oh, but can you do that, Nancy, or not? You can't? You,
I could do the 20th. I can't do the 27th, but I don't need to be there either. I could ask a committee
Okay.
member to be there. But if we're talking straw poll, that would probably be good for me to be there.
okay, can we put it on the 20th at 3:30?
Mhm.
Sure.
Okay. And okay. Let's
Could we also put on the agenda, Mark, about
Mhm.
having a kind of more of a fun speaker at the membership meeting in August? Someone that will draw people in. But I think
okay, let me
Alex,
see.
Alex would have a couple of months a month to try to figure that out, because that's now his responsibility.
I'm gonna put that on the July meeting, right? That's
Right.
what you're talking about?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
Mhm.
July, sorry.
Okay. Okay, I have agenda. Maybe going over the meeting minutes from May and June. Or I'm sorry, just the August agenda, approving that. Meeting minutes, May and June, and a speaker. That's all I've got for the July meeting. We'll keep it quick.
Mm.
So maybe a secretary thing, but we'll see. Over the summer, I'm
Oh, let's be
doubtful.
optimistic.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm with you.
Yeah. Okay, all right, folks, it's getting past 5:06, and
So could we
I
go back
think,
to the Wyatt thing on the 5th?
oh,
We would need to make a motion to approve sending per our procedures now, a motion to approve sending out either with something else or some, to help publicize this event, because it sounds like a really great event for everybody involved with Nesquim.
okay, let me look here.
Tom, you're going to be there for your
I
for one
haven't
booth,
figured
right?
out where, there's two things going on, so I think I
Oh,
probably will be. Yeah,
Mhm.
I intend to.
okay. There are two things going on the same day? Okay.
Okay, so he sent me what looks like from Linda Angela. He sent it to me, one of 14 people. And
Yeah,
and it
for
would
some reason
seem
his email comes out as
okay.
Linda, but it's Wyatt. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was more of a, I looked at it as just a notice to me, myself, I guess. He didn't say anything about putting it anywhere.
Oh, okay. So it sounds like maybe
Um,
he didn't follow up. I responded to that note just saying,
yeah,
why don't you check with Mark about whether this could be publicized, because it seems like a really great event.
I believe I saw it publicized in the NCA at an
Yeah.
NCA. Have you seen that, Susan?
I did
It's,
receive an email from
that's
NCA.
what, okay,
And
so
their email list is smaller than ours.
yeah,
The only concern, or I could see the benefit of using our email list since it's safety.
right. Um,
Kind of like the bear thing that came up last fall.
mhm.
The one sheet with the bear thing.
Okay, so I don't have a request from him, Nancy.
Okay.
I have a blurb. It's just
Yeah.
from Linda Angelo, me and 14 other people, just saying there's an open house, and here's what we're going to do at it, and we hope to see you there, Wyatt Angelo. So that's what I have.
Mhm.
Okay.
I
Well,
mean, he didn't say, could you put that at the, on the
No, I know he didn't.
NCAC.
I
So,
guess he didn't do
Could
that.
we actively move that it be allowed,
could.
like making a
We
motion,
could.
if he
Yes.
chose to do it, right? I don't know how this works.
Yes, so I move that we approve sending out an email notice about the July 5th Community Safety Fire Cert uh, activity meeting to
Well,
be written.
Yeah, it's actually so on the 4th of July
Yeah.
is the
Mhm.
July
house at the
4th.
fire station. And then the next Saturday, the 5th, at the farmers market, the South Tillamook County Emergency Volunteer Corps will have a booth there. So there's
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it sounds like we could have both things in the same email publicizing both. So one's on the 4th and one's on the 5th.
right.
Yeah, so is there somebody who we could tap to write that?
I guess I could do it.
Okay.
So what's the
I was
motion
hoping
now?
you'd say that, Gary. So an email blast to publicize the two events on July 4th and July 5th regarding those two things, Gary.
Yeah.
You could put it in the minutes the right way.
Right.
I second it.
Okay.
I mean,
It's
do you have
been
any
moved and
objection, Mark, to doing that?
no, it just, it would be nice if people would have asked us to do that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
It would be easier if they would have requested for us to do that.
And written a
Please
blurb.
do
Yes.
that.
Right,
Please do
right.
that.
Okay, there's a request. Okay. All right. So we do have a request.
And I'm a third member, so hey.
Oh,
Okay, there you go. All right. Okay.
He's going to be manning a booth.
All right.
That sounds like
Okay,
Gary, you're going to be manning a booth too, right?
Yeah, I'll be at the farmers market. I'm not sure I'll be with the at the open house.
okay,
I intend to be at the open house.
okay. All right, it's been moved and seconded, so let's just do a raise of the hand vote. All in favor? Okay, all right, that motion passes. So Gary, I don't know if you have Wyatt's, should I forward what Wyatt wrote me, Gary, or do you know it, or you know what he?
I'm not sure what you're referring to. What are you?
He's the 4th of July. He has the
Open house.
open house July 4th at the fire station. So I'll just send it to you.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
Okay,
No,
go ahead. Go.
I
So
was gonna say, while we're speaking about safety, I wanted to let you guys know, I heard something yesterday, visiting a friend yesterday on the Salishan Spit. Her next door neighbor, was told by their insurance company that their fire insurance would not be renewed unless they replaced their cedar shake roof.
Mm.
And this is something that could impact Nescolin because there are many, cedar shake roofs. So I don't know how to get the word out, but I wanted to mention it to the five of you, the four of you, because if you know anyone who's replacing a roof, make sure that it's not cedar shake.
Okay.
It reminds me of what went on when I lived in Southern California, where they'll drop you off insurance.
You know, this might be a good topic for the August membership meeting, property insurance
Oh,
implications.
that'll
for
go on for
Nescolin.
hours. I'll just tell you.
So
That'll
like a
be a
half
long
hour.
meeting.
I
Well,
Flood
was so-
insurance, fire insurance.
Yeah, I was just so shocked because they are literally oceanfront on the Spit, and
Yeah.
and this is what they've been told.
That is strange.
Yeah, I was surprised.
All right, maybe I can put that into Alex's. I might email Alex.
Mhm. I don't know. I think there are plenty of topics that would be of interest to people that might get them to come to meetings.
Okay, Gary, I sent you that blurb from Wyatt. And then I think you might be able to put something together for the event on the 5th, Gary.
yeah.
Something briefly. Okay.
So it
Okay.
could be like maybe one email blast with the two items.
Yeah.
Safety weekend.
4th and the 5th. Yeah. Okay. I think I think unless there's any other comments, we're about ready to adjourn here. Any other comments? No? Okay.
Thank you.
All right, we will adjourn the meeting at 5:14. And thank you all.